Okay, this is going to be a overview of the work we've done on the compressor, radiator, fan assembly for the Ideal Slider 55 that we're restoring. This is the finished product. Pretty much it's ready to go back into the machine when we get it back from the powder coater. You can see it's, for those who don't know what this is a pancake style Tecumseh 1/8 horsepower compressor. And then what we did was we replaced the fan motor because the other one was pretty trashed and the bearings were seized up on it. And we have a box to show you that one. This is the motor that we replaced it with. We got this directly from Fun-tronics, who's been a big help with parts for this machine. They make a lot of reproduction parts. We were able to salvage the fan blade itself. It was sandblasted and then painted. And then of course the radiator is the same radiator. We straightened out some of the fins on it and basically put everything back together. Of course this is all disconnected. The refrigeration guy that we're using was able to work off the nuts and put these brass fittings on temporarily. I think I mentioned that in the previous video. But this just gives you a quick overview of what it looks like after we've done sandblasting and painting these components. What we used is a Rust-Oleum primer, which is going to be helpful in inhibiting any rust that might have lingered there. So we primered everything except for the radiator with Rust-Oleum, the primer. And then to paint the base and the compressor and the bracket for the fan, we used a Ace brand. It's basically a knockoff of Rust-Oleum, but anyway, it's a satin black paint that, again, is supposed to be a rust inhibitor. So hopefully with those two levels, we will be able to prevent any rust from coming through. And then for the radiator, I painted it with a radiator paint, which is a high temperature paint. This I got through Amazon. My refrigeration guy says I really didn't need to because these radiators don't get as hot as in a car, let's say, but just to be safe, I figured I'd paint it, and it was also a satin black finish. And then, as I mentioned before, the starter on this thing, which would have mounted below here, was trashed. So we took that off, and we have a replacement starter here. This is, again, courtesy of Fun-tronics. This one, you can see the part number right there. You have to be careful to get the right size starter for the size compressor you have. This one covers 1/12, 1/10, 1/8, 1/6, and 1/5 horsepower compressors. So it'll cover our compressor, no problem. And this is going to plug into the leads here, and it'll connect with the fan, and then we'll run the cord using the wiring assembly from Fun-tronics over to the thermostat that we're replacing when we get this thing mounted. So, and then under here we have the data plates. Let me see how it turned. We tried to leave this as original. Didn't want to try to sandblast this or repaint anything. But this is kind of cool. You can see the original specs for the machine. For the Freon, requires 8 ounces. And you can see the Tecumseh logo there at the top of that tag as well. So this is a quick overview of the compressor and the newly mounted new fan. So the only part that's new on here is the fan motor itself, and of course the starter when we get this mounted. Everything else will be original to the machine. The fan, the wiring harness, the thermostat are the electrical components we're replacing. So hope you enjoyed the video, and we'll post more as we get farther along in the restoration process.